All right, everybody, welcome to Let's Be Gamers. I am Danny Lee, and I am here with my partner Alex today. Now, today we're going to be doing mostly a transgender topic episode. My buddy Alex here is quite the professional, considering they are trans. You got to be in the know to know, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so for the most part, I'm going to be playing this game. I'll ask Alex some questions. Now, a lot of these are, questions people know the answers to. But we're treating this as if somebody is coming to our video to learn about, transgender and everything that word means. So I'm going to start off with some pretty basic questions here. So what does being transgender mean to you?
Being transgender means to me that there is an incongruence in your gender assigned at birth and what you feel in your heart and what in your head. And I believe that it is more based on the euphoria that one feels about their gender rather than the dysphoria that their assigned gender at birth causes them.
See, and that's really the area me and my mother just talked about, because I quite literally, like, not even an hour ago, came out to her
Yeah.
as trans mask.
Ooh.
We love that. Yay me.
Ooh, congrats.
It does feel good. It does feel good. She's the absolute best. So, all right, I'm going to move on to the next question. So, what is the difference between sex and gender?
Sex is the thing you're assigned at birth. Basically, it's the physical attributes that make up what the doctor assumes your gender to be. A lot of it is basically just guesswork, because a lot of people are born intersex, and there is a lot of confusion on what someone could be, and they can totally be wrong. But gender.
Sorry, I was gonna say I actually knew an intersex person, and it was very cool to ask them questions. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, I bet. But gender is definitely more of what you feel in your heart and in your head, and how you want to be presented to the world, and how you want to be perceived by others and yourself.
I love it. I love that. All right, I'm gonna buy another egg here. I'm gonna wait for that to hatch, and this is an interesting one. This, and believe it or not, people have confusion on this. Have transgender people always existed?
Yes, actually, there have been documentation of transgender people almost as far back as humans have existed. There have been queens in Egypt that are trans. There have
Wow,
been
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, there have been cave paintings of trans people. There have been everything. They've been here for as long as we've existed.
I love that. Wow. Yeah. See, I didn't know about that first part. I mean, I'm learning from this too. Um, what are some categories or types of transgender people?
Well, as people are being more accepting of the thought of gender as a separate being from sex, there have been more things added over time. And so there is a lot of debate within even the community on what things are in the trans community and what are not in the trans community.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there is binary trans people, and then there is non-binary trans people. And binary trans people are FTM, MTF. They're the basic ones that basic. They're the ones that
Basic.
they're the ones that you usually hear about in the news and stuff. But then there's also non-binary people who some non-binary people choose to not identify as trans. But there is a space for them in the community if they so choose to decide that.
That's actually really cool, because I only found that out very recently.
Yeah.
that falls, that even me, originally being gender fluid, fell under that category.
Yeah, it totally can. There are people that are like, no, I'm not trans. I don't want to be associated with.
Yeah, and that's totally,
Totally.
pick and choose. What else do we have here on the agenda? Do you know any? I know that I have a couple. If you don't, transgender people in like as celebrities.
Oh yeah, Chad Bono, I think his name is.
Oh wow.
He's really cool. I think that's the um, I don't know anything he's played in, but he's really cool. And then there's quite a few people that are trans. I
I
mainly only know trans masked people or trans men.
Yeah, I know of Elliot Page. Elliot Page came out recently. I say recently, but
Yeah.
it was like a year ago. Good for him. I loved Umbrella Academy. I love the way they handled that in season 3
Oh,
as well.
that made me cry.
Oh my, yeah, that was absolutely beautiful. And everyone, they wanted to throw him a party. I
hmm
love that. That was beautiful. I loved that so much.
That was beautiful.
Um, all right, what do we got here? What is the relationship between gender identity and sexual orientation?
Um, Not much.
Yeah.
um, uh, gender identity is who you are, and gender or sexual orientation is who you love. However, there are like specific things that people have preferences on within the different sexual orientations that make it so that your gender identity is an impact on that sort of thing, but
hmm
very, very little.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was kind of getting at. Um, what do we have? How does someone know they're transgender? That's a very difficult question, and I don't even
It's a
think
very
you can't answer that for everybody. But like a general,
Yeah, totally. Well, it is important to know that the narrative of like, oh, I always knew that I was trans is not for everyone. Not everyone always knew that they were trans. Um,
that's yeah.
I I had signs when I was little that I was trans. And all growing up, I was very masculine. However, obviously, now I am much more feminine than I was even growing up as a girl.
And see that's the fun of it is gender nonconforming is very freeing.
It really is.
And
But what helped me find out that I
mhm,
was trans was basically looking at other trans men at the time, even though I'm trans masked now, but trans men at the time, and seeing what they went through and seeing their journey and stuff. And I I remember one tip that someone, I forget who it was, gave me of like looking yourself in the mirror and just saying your name and your gender and your pronouns out loud to yourself and watch yourself as you say them.
yeah, no, it's an entire freeing experience.
Definitely.
It's to be able to be comfortable with yourself finally after all that time of like being not sure.
Yeah.
So that's a huge one. We love that. All right. What do I have here on the next page? Um all right. What should parents do if their child appears to be transgender or nonconforming?
Depends on the age.
Valid. Okay, that's valid.
However, if you have a small child who seems to be gender nonconforming, that's sometimes normal. Like there are like a bunch of kids that are gender nonconforming when they're little, and they don't grow up to be trans. Um, and so a lot of those people, you know, you can just let them be themselves and they'll grow out of it. But if your child is consistent and persistent on who they are and what they want, then that's when you should really take them seriously.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Support. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to
And of course,
jump into hormones. You don't have to.
totally. Of course, you can't do any kind of hormone treatment until the child is, I believe, 12.
Oh wow.
And then it is only hormone blockers, or it might be like 10 to 12 when they
Mhm.
start puberty. You go on hormone blockers, and that blocks their puberty so that they don't have to go through one that they don't want. That is completely reversible as soon as they get off of the hormone blockers, they go through puberty that they were supposed to. Um, However, you can't go on any kind of hormone replacement therapy until you are at least 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right. Oh, hold on. What is this? Here's one. And believe it or not, this is, something that needs to be talked about. Is being transgender a mental disorder?
This one is a tricky question.
It is a very tricky
There are
question.
people who get really mad about it.
Yep.
I think that there is a mental aspect to being transgender because we do have different brains than our cis counterparts. If they scanned my brain right now, it would say that I was masculine or a man or something like that.
Yep.
However, I don't think it's an illness.
I agree. I actually completely agree with that answer. It's not. It shouldn't be treated like that. At least there shouldn't be this. I mean, there shouldn't be the stigma at all. But we know how it is.
Yeah, it's very sad that the trans experience as of right now is more focused on the misery that we have to deal with the first couple of years or so, when we are figuring ourselves out,
Unfortunately, yes. It's very unfortunate, but hopefully we can make that change.
Mm-hmm.
Change things for the better in that sense. What kind of discrimination do transgender people face? But you specifically, what kind of discrimination have you faced?
I get people taking pictures of me. I have people laughing at me. I have people telling me I'm a sinner and worse than that.
Yeah, I don't want to get demonetized. I don't even know if I'm gonna get monetized.
Exactly. But it's scary going into the bathroom, no matter which bathroom I go to. It's it's scary to like go to a workplace and not know if someone's going to hate crime me.
Yep. Very scary, very scary. Even just, little stuff that the staring.
Yeah, staring at me. Yeah.
Staring. That's a big one for me, especially with my social anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did cut my hair short for the new year, and even that has been, and I'm like, I could, like, you don't, even just like, hypothetically, somebody with short hair, it's like, okay. But it's the fact that they're not sure what I am that they'll stare.
Yep.
And it's very, very unfortunate. All right. I've got one final question, if you don't mind.
Okay.
How can I be supportive of transgender family members, friends, and significant others?
I'm pretty sure that every trans person understands that there will be a process in changing names, pronouns, all of that kind of stuff. However, that grace period ends after max a year. One if you if you don't get the hang of that kind of stuff with the person within like a year, it's very damaging to your relationship with that person. It already is if you take a long time anyways, but like it's really hard to repair something if you don't feel like the person sees you that way.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that researching it, researching it as much as you can, but be careful because there's a lot of misinformation on the internet.
Believe it or not, I'm not gonna, relate the story because it would out who did it, but
Yeah.
I actually had somebody give me a book about how being transgender is a cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
There's
negativity
a
that
lot of
people like to
negativity, a
spread.
lot of hate. It's very unfortunate. Well, this has actually been incredibly informative. I really appreciate, talking with you, and I would definitely love to talk about more topics with you in the future. But Is there anything else you'd like to share? Just your experience, things you think people should know. I will be
Uh,
providing a bunch of resources in the description as well, so
I
that's
think we
taken.
should do an episode on being feminine, like my experience as a feminine trans guy. I
No,
wouldn't mind
absolutely.
sharing
That's
that.
that's absolutely.
And
Right.
then I also think we could totally do an episode on like the medical side of stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, this is just like the introduction, like
Totally.
the basics. Well, I think this is actually well, again, we'll keep it a series, but
Yeah.
I'm going to call that the first episode if you don't mind.
Oh yeah.
All right, I love it. Thank you so much, Alex, for, helping us around here. We appreciate the inside, the inside look, the inside scoop. All right, well, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much. Hey guys, Danny here, and I just wanted to do a little end card. I just wanted to thank Alex for being here. It was really exciting having him on, and I just wanted to provide some areas where you could follow him. He's got some great TikToks. He also does art commissions, so if you want to message him on that art Insta to get some commissions, we'd really appreciate that. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.